Welcome to Rocks Talks. It's good to see you all on this day. It is the 12th of March, and we got a lot to talk about. I'm telling you, whenever I go into this, and I like my computer was dead yesterday, I don't have my notes. And when I don't have my notes, I forget to share something. So there's something I forgot to tell you about the Oscars that's important that I'll share with you. Well, important is talk. We're going to talk about Kate Middleton because it's the gift that keeps on giving. Also, the Bachelor had their hometowns last night. Do you Airbnb? Have you ever Airbnb'd? We need to talk about the Airbnb-ing as well as I'm curious how things stand with you. Do you babysit your family members? Families, kids, maybe kids. We're talking about all those things. So let's go ahead and get started and get going. Also, because Maisie's in here, I've locked her into the office with me right now. The door's shut. So she's like, all right, but don't take too long. I'll take as long as I want, little one. Okay, so first of all, forgive me as I was telling you the big stories of the Oscars, how I forgot John Cena. How do you forget John Cena going on stage naked? How did I forget that? I don't know. Their goal was to make him look like a Ken doll, and they did a good job. The question, of course, everyone's asking is, was he really naked? So he was wearing like a body suit-ish area that covered his front and his back, but not the sides. So yes-ish, yeah. John Cena, you took one for the team. I need to send that to, I don't think Scott saw it because I need to send that to him. Honey, look like this. I love me some John Cena. I'm still sad that he didn't marry the Bella Twin, but I love me some John Cena. That like I didn't watch him back in the days. I mean, I remember like he did this thing and stuff when he was in the WWE or O or whatever they call themselves. But when the show came on, you know, the one about the women of the WWE, that is when I was like, oh, John Cena. He was just, I'm like, you're so sweet and cute. And you're this big guy that just. Anyhow, I'm a fan. So there's that. Just in case you missed that, you can go ahead and Google it. It is everywhere. Don't you worry about a thing. You know who should be worrying? The royal family. So I mentioned yesterday there was that picture of Kate Middleton that went out that was photoshopped in like 85 different ways, and there was an apology that went out on their official Twitter. I think I said it was Prince William. It was actually Kate. Kate said, "Sorry, I'm photoshopping. I'm not very good at it." First of all, does anyone really believe that Kate is actually ever the one who's tweeting or Xing, whatever we call that? Let's be real. That's off. Secondly, I'm not buying it. It's amazing how we can make a mountain out of a molehill, and maybe this is a lesson to all of us. Like when you try to cover something up, which typically is another word for a lie, right? And you work so hard to cover something up, it makes the whole thing a bigger deal. If you just come out and tell the truth in the beginning, not such a big deal. But you mean to tell me that you photoshopped all that, but you didn't put your wedding ring on it? And that they found that it was like an old picture from a magazine, and maybe it was like the top and the bottom. I don't know. All these weird stuff done. It just doesn't make sense that while she's trying to have her privacy, she spent time photoshopping this picture just to get it out. You didn't have an extra picture of any other time you could have used. And if you really were trying to dispel rumors, why would you not have the wedding ring on? It's making it a big deal. And now I think even for people who aren't interested in the royals, it's like, what is going on with Kate? Why are they hiding her? What is happening? Is something wrong? I'm telling you, something is rotten in the city of Denmark. I don't know what it is. I don't know if we'll ever know what it is. It might require a new season of The Crown to come out. I'm just saying, it's getting to be that big of a deal. We might need that. Just saying. Did you watch last season of The Crown? I didn't watch it. I'm sad. Like, I love The Crown. When they announced it was going to be the last season, I was like sad. And rumor has it that the king didn't like them talking about the modern day. But what a good show. Like, so good. Really good. Speaking of shows, The Bachelor was on last night, and it was hometowns. It was the first episode this season where they've had a cliffhanger. So they had Rachel was first that they showed us, at least, which is probably true. They had Rachel, maybe not. They had Rachel, then they had Kelsey, then they had Daisy. Now, here's what's interesting about it, and they're in Tulum. They had people from the Golden Bachelorette come and talk to the ladies. So they first had Susan, which if you didn't watch Golden Bachelorette, just Susan's the one who looks like She's Kris Jenner, and she's the one who was also, she officiated the golden wedding, and she's just lovely and fun and all the things. So she spoke to Rachel, really gassed Rachel up, said, like, embrace it, go out there, be yourself, be real, all these things. Great. Rachel like falls. They do a jump. They're jumping in cenotes and caves, and they jump the water. Maisie, she's pacing and smelling. Okay, she's back. Okay, hi, come here. You do not need to go to the bathroom, so don't fake it. So anyway, she jumps. They jump in the water, and she like hurts her jaw, and so that kind of wrecks the whole date. But really not, because you can tell it's just a friend vibe in the first place. Second date is with Kelsey, and Kelsey is one of the front runners. Kelsey, they have Leslie come from the Golden Bachelor. And if you know Leslie from the Golden Bachelorette or Bachelor, she better not be the Golden Bachelorette. She was the runner-up who was just bitter beer face about the whole thing. Well, you told me you loved me. You told me, like, you said all these things and you chose someone else. And she was bitter. But I have been campaigning against her being the Golden Bachelorette since the show. I'm like, I do not want her to be the Golden Bachelorette. Please, Lord, no. Because here's the thing. And this is why she was not the best for Gary and why she shouldn't be the Golden Bachelorette. No offense to her, but she kept saying things like, I've never been chosen. Well, she has been married twice. As someone who got married in their 40s, I have no patience for someone who says that they've never been chosen when they literally have been proposed to at least twice and have gotten married twice. The other thing that kills me about her is that she clearly, there's a difference between having someone who has a spouse that's deceased, because that is different than we got divorced. And you could see that throughout the show, and you can see that in her as well. I could tell that if Gary had chosen her, and Gary likes to talk about his deceased wife. He's a widow. Widower? He's a widower. Anyhow, widower or widow? Tell me, I'm not sure. Drop in the comments. She would be jealous of Terry, his deceased wife. That's just a given. Whereas with Teresa, they can talk about, she talks about Bobby, he talks about Terry, and it's totally normal. Is it Terry and Teresa? Really? Did I get those names right? Anyhow, it doesn't feel weird because they understand that this person was the love of their life, and they understand they can love again. She would always be competing and wondering, am I as good as your ex-wife? Or your deceased wife. You could just tell that the whole time. And that's why I really think that the Golden Bachelor should be someone who has, like, either is confident, has done the work, which she is not, or is someone who truly their spouse passed away. So it's like this, it's just a different situation. And she proved again, why am I going on this whole rabbit hole? Because she sat there and Kelsey's like, I'm in love. I love him. And this is great. And she's like, yeah, but guess what? You need to remind yourself that might not work out. I was in love too. Gary said he loved me. And guess what? He didn't pick me. I was like, okay, so you're just going to scorch the earth for everyone. You are a mature woman and you're not acting mature and giving this young woman, good advice. Yeah, it could not work out for her, but it's The Bachelor. This is not Sister Wives. He's not going to pick the best two or best three. He's going to pick one. She knows that. But to like then put this seed of doubt in her, major seed of doubt, to the extent by the end of the episode, she's spiraling, even though she had a great date, spiraling, and sends him notes, says, we need to talk. That was all Leslie. This is a reason Leslie should not be the Golden Bachelorette. She's not over it. She needs to calm down. Even if you're hurting, you need to tell her, believe in love. She's 20-something. Believe in love. Go for it. Not be bitter, jaded. Nobody needs that. I was not happy. Why? I'm like, why do you have Leslie on the screen? And she did exactly what I knew she would do. And then the last one, they had my girl. Oh my goodness. I always forget her name. She's the African-American one, who was on, tip of the tongue, who was on the Golden Bachelorette. And she's just funny as all get up. And so she was with Daisy, and she was telling Daisy, like, you gotta be confident and also be a little sexy. Tell him you can't wait to start like practicing making babies. She's funny. She gave really good advice as well too. And I loved it. So those were the highlights. Other than that, it ended on a cliffhanger of what is Kelsey gonna say when when they meet up, this note, and there was no rose ceremony. So we're leading into the Woman Tell All, which could be good, but they're going to edit it so it's not. But I'm still going to watch it next week because. Also interesting. So Airbnb came out and they said that they are now banning indoor security cameras in any of the places that they have on their site. Have you ever used Airbnb? I just always assume if I'm going to be in an Airbnb, and I think I've only been in one, and it wasn't technically Airbnb, but that we rented, but I've just always assumed that you should always assume that someone has cameras in their house. Now, I understand why they are doing it, because some of the people might be freaky deaky, and where are these cameras, and what are they watching people do? And that's not cool. And I guess it's been surfacing like a whole channel online of people's like, what they are seeing on these cameras. So I get it. But I also kind of feel bad because I'm like, if you were in my house and I'm renting my house to you for a week or a weekend or whatever, and you mess something up, I want proof that happened. So I get it, but I do think it's an invasion of privacy. Overall, I think it's a good decision they made. Now, my question is, will Vrbo do the same thing? And will other places do the same thing where they're going to ban the cameras? Don't know. I don't know. I just always assume if I'm at anyone's house, there's cameras. Yeah. But I also say, you're not that interesting, Roxanne, so it's fine. Question. Because I have a lot of friends who babysit their grandbabies for 4 days a week, 2 days a week, whatever it may be. And we've never had this conversation, so I need to reach out to them and ask them. But it's become this issue and this thing. Those who do charge and those who do not charge for babysitting family members. How do you feel about that? Like, it's really a divisive thing, kind of like the whole airline thing with the baby and the dropping of the popcorn and whatnot of the pregnant woman. And people are coming out saying, yeah, if you're babysitting my child, if my mom is babysitting my child for like 4 times a week, I'm paying her, at least to cover the cost of food and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, well, that kind of makes sense. But I just never thought of that. And I'm trying to think back. My parents never charged when they babysat when they babysat my nephew. They never charged my sister. At the same time, I would think like if it was like a little teenager, I would probably pay the teenager because it's like, hey, but when it comes to grandparents, do you charge to babysit your grandbabies? Or maybe if you're a sister or sibling, do you charge? And is it is that just a family thing or an assumption? I would think if Scott and I had kids and let's say one of his sisters was babysitting and she's like, okay, that's going to be X amount of hours, I'd be like, that might shock me a little bit. My family wouldn't charge. We wouldn't do that. I'm not saying that it's bad that yours might, but I'm like, But at the same time, I think it is nice to give, like, here's some money for food. Or here's some money. I know you got some extra diapers. I ran out of whatever. But I don't know. I guess if you're charging less than the cost of daycare, it's still worth it. And you know them. And it is their time. I mean, I get it. And sometimes with my girlfriends who are babysitting, I'm like, that is a lot of work. You're up early. But I know they would never. I'm like almost 100% positive they're not charging. I'm going to ask them, though. Do you charge for your babysitting of your babies? Interesting. I'd love to know where you fall on that or where you would fall on that, because that might come up soon for you. You just never know. All right. Well, it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood here. I will be diving into, tomorrow is the YouTube workshop, so I'm be diving into just finalizing things for that. I had a client earlier today, was talking with her and like setting up her YouTube strategy and what we're going to do, really, because she needs more people on her list. She needs to build her list. And so we're going to be using YouTube to do that. And we were setting up like the plan for, they're going to YouTube, then they're going to get to her lead gen. And we're setting up like what that lead gen is going to look like to make that happen, which is really exciting. I'm excited for her. If you would like some help on the YouTube, if you would like some guidance on setting it up, on getting it going, on getting it growing, you should come to my workshop. It's tomorrow, and I'll put the link in the show notes. I'd love to see you there. I have 2 sessions tomorrow, and there is room in both, so you're good. You can come and join. I know you're like, another platform, but if Instagram has been doing you dirty, which it has been, like it has been. If Facebook's been doing you dirty, which obviously it has been, it's time to look at another platform and kind of dive in and see what that one can do for you. So I'd love to help you with that. And I'm excited to be doing that tomorrow. So I hope to see you there. Click on the link. It's not too late to register. And I will see you tomorrow as well, too. Go be great. Bye, everybody.